I want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. In Genesis chapter 24, verse 65, why did Rebekah cover herself with a veil when Isaac was approaching? We do that today in wedding ceremonies. Absolutely. In fact, much of a modern wedding ceremony is actually derived from or a picture of these ancient Old Testament, I guess, hate to say it, but rituals, so to speak. And yes, even at my wedding almost 29 years ago, my wife wore a, quote, veil. Now, what's critical and important to that is it's not really a hiding of, because there was a knowing of. Back in biblical days, very different from today, when a young man had a bar mitzvah, as we know it, the day before his 13th birthday, he not only received an apprenticeship, he received a pledgeship of who he would marry when that time arrived. That young girl could already be born, be in the womb, or it was a pledge with another family. Why is this important to the story? Well, we know in this particular story that things didn't quite go as were expected. Now, originally, they would have known who their wife would have been their entire life, would have seen them in their upbringing. There would be no issue of confusion or deception or whatever it may be. We know in this case there was a pledge to work, and then it didn't quite work out the way, and 14 years later he ends up with who he desires to be with. Now, all that being said, what has happened is in today's world, we've transferred the idea of a veil to the veil of a wedding dress, the picture of coming forward, all the hand in marriage, all those things are pictures of. So yes, today, the wedding veil is just a continuation of a tradition. Now, here's where it gets real interesting. It may breed another question. Back in those days, it's based in the book of Deuteronomy, a young lady's family would provide a dowry or 1 year's salary to the man for them to establish their home. He wouldn't work that year. And then, if unfortunately down the road there was a dissolving of the marriage, the dowry had to be returned. At some point in time, we kept wearing the veil, we quit doing the dowry, which is how we ended up with these very expensive weddings. Because at one point, people had saved up to get the dowry. We no longer gave the dowry, so we threw a big party, and guess what? We're still throwing them today. So much of what we originate in the Old Testament is still here today, just pictured a little bit different. Great question. If you have one, send to askjeff.net. Maybe your question will be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at askjeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.